Gracie Jiu-Jitsu rocks. Welcome to the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Rocks podcast, a podcast dedicated to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and all things Gracie, including self-defense, competition, anti-bullying, women's self-defense and empowerment, nutrition, and most especially, the people involved in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. This podcast is for the average Joe. It's for anyone who practices, trains, teaches, or just loves to talk about or hear about Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. We'll explore the lives of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, how they got involved in the art, and what effect it's had on their lives. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hello again, everyone. This is Marty Josie, and welcome to episode 40 of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Rocks podcast. Today, my guest will be Luis Limao Heredia. But before that, it's right before Thanksgiving, and just want to take a moment to wish everybody listening a very happy Thanksgiving. You know, we all have a lot to be thankful and grateful for in our lives, and the more we take time, sometimes even taking a moment to really focus and acknowledge that, really focus on what in our lives we do have to be grateful and thankful for, the better our lives will certainly be, more happier we'll be. The happiest people I know in my life are the ones that are very grateful people. So happy Thanksgiving. I hope it's a great one for you. Okay, moving on to our jiu-jitsu quote. And that quote is, "What the samurai did with their swords, we do with our hands." And that is from Grandmaster Elio Gracie. Today we have a special guest who will be doing the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment. And that's Mark Kukro. And more on that after the interview. I also want to do a quick shout out to Keith Owen. And Keith owns and operates Ultimate Karate and Jiu-Jitsu in the Boise, Idaho area. And he also runs Team Rhino with his affiliate schools. He was featured on episode 20 of this show, so if you haven't heard it, definitely go back and check it out, learn more about Keith. But Keith just got promoted to third degree black belt from Pedro Sauer. So congratulations, Professor Owen. Well done, great job, awesome accomplishment. Today's guest, Luis Limao Heredia, is a legend in jiu-jitsu. He's been around forever, has known and trained just everybody in jiu-jitsu way back in the day. He's a 5-time Pan American champion, and he's a 5th degree black belt under RIckson Gracie. He's very instrumental in Pedro Sauer's association, and he owns and operates Maui Jiu-Jitsu in Maui, Hawaii. And Limao came over way back when, in the early wave, when RIckson and a lot of people came over to the United States. As a purple belt, he came over with RIckson, and the rest is kind of history. He's been around forever doing his thing. He's an awesome individual and well-respected throughout the jiu-jitsu community and world. So without further ado, let's talk to Limao. Okay, so I'm talking with Luis Heredia, also known as Limao. So welcome, sir, and thank you very much for talking to me today.
I'm very happy, very glad, and to be part of the podcast. And it's a thrill when I can share 36 years of jiu-jitsu with people. So
Absolutely,
let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm honored to be talking to you. May I call you Luis? Is that okay?
And that is awesome, man.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, let me just ask you real quick about your nickname, Limao. I believe that means lemon. How did you get that nickname? And
man,
who gave you that?
Number one. That's I don't know why, but that's always the first one question. And well, that nickname comes. Every Brazilian pretty much has a nickname, and and usually nicknames are picked after you have some sort of like I would say disagreement with somebody, or you don't take that joke as an humorous, with humor.
Yeah.
And then that was my case. Actually, I was like sitting down with a bunch of friends by the age of 13, 14, a bunch of teenagers. We're all hanging out in Rio, and boys and girls. And then I had this girlfriend that I kissed, and a friend of mine actually did not like her much. And like in front of everybody, he made this very funny joke, like, "Oh, looks like she's chewing a lemon." Right? Oh man, I took that
funny.
as a big offense. And
really?
You can't see it that way. And well, the nickname stuck around all the way to today until I have to until now, which I have to answer questions about my nickname. That's fun. I sometimes I don't know if I I don't know if
so it's not something you particularly like. It sounds like.
Well, I didn't like the fact that the guy made fun of a situation of that you're just a teenager, man. Everything it's kind of like at age kissing back then. It was pretty. I mean, back then now it was a little embarrassing situation. So I'm trying to keep it cool and see if I could hook up with this girl and. But guess what? The guy made it even harder. So
not cool.
So yeah, that's the origin of the famous Limao nickname, and but that's it. It has nothing to do with fighting or
right. Okay.
It's just
so. Well, let's talk about you. Just this past weekend, you were with Master Pedro Sauer, I believe it was Salt Lake City, Utah, and doing seminars there. What was that like?
Yeah. This is actually that was my first time in Utah. Amazing, man. I went all over, but I never been to Utah before. And being Pedro was like first real academy, where he really like established himself in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
That was hard for me to comprehend that too in 1991, 1992, when he went over there. I'm like, man, where are you going? We're going to Mormon land. So I got to see this past weekend what it was all about, man. It's one of the best, most complete jiu-jitsu schools I've been in the past 5-10 years. I don't know, man. It's pretty
wow.
Solid place. Very cool.
Sounds...
It was awesome. We had a great 3-day camp. We had over 100 people, and graduated a bunch of black belts, browns, purple. It's always awesome, man, to be around Pedro and his association, and how organized and how much they care about jiu-jitsu and people. It's an honor to be part of that. It was awesome. And I'm on my way. We have Well, I have a couple hours until I pick him up in the airport. So he's coming over for a seminar tomorrow on his way to Australia.
Nice.
Thank God we have Hawaii on the mirror, huh? And
absolutely.
It's a pretty long trip, man. I really don't know how much Pedro can handle. So he's amazing. The guy goes all over the planet, man. And
he really is busy, isn't he?
Are you kidding me? I'm serious. It surprises me, and it's an inspiration. He's amazing, man. He's been a big brother to me, big time. You know, Jiu-Jitsu grew so much, man, and everybody's together. Everybody goes here and there, and a lot of times you give people black belts, they go on their own way.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't seem to be the case in our association, man. They got the black belt, they stick around, they fully support it. It's pretty amazing, and that has a lot to do with Pedro's character.
Absolutely.
The reason of this whole success is because this guy has an amazing talent for teaching and understanding people. Yeah, it was fun, man. I love it. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to be back in Utah.
What was the school and who owns that? Just to give them a little shout out.
They're called, give a little prop to those guys, because if you are in the Salt Lake area, that's definitely the place to go and train, man. Bunch of skilled, good fighters. The academy calls Unified. I'm sorry.
Unified
Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and it's run by Johnny Qualquist and his wife Sarah, and man, one of the most skilled black belts I've seen. His name is James Gardner. This guy is amazing, man.
Wow,
they all are. So yeah. For me to be saying that, man,
that's big. That's big for you to be giving those kind of props.
Yeah, they are pretty big. They're very good people, and they're very kind and great, amazing group of students over there. So if you can, guys, whenever you're in the Salt Lake area, go check the Unified Jiu-Jitsu School. You won't regret, guarantee.
Good deal.
Very
and
cool.
I just wanted to echo what you were saying about Master Sauer and his association. Just recently, I've had the opportunity to interact with and get to know more people in his association, and also get to meet him personally and sit down with him for a few minutes, and just blown away by his presence, his knowledge, and as well as how his association is run, and everybody is incredible that I've met with him so far. So very impressed with him.
Yeah,
and
man, you know what? It is. You should be, because it's one of the most organized and honest people I've seen. They treat everybody with the most respect. I can easily say, man, that without them right now, I don't know if I would be too motivated to go anywhere and teach. They make it fun. You go there, there's a bunch of black belts, everybody very respectful, everybody, no matter what we teach, either self-defense or sport of jiu-jitsu, they all take it in smiling, and it's pretty awesome, man. It's a lot of work, I guess. That's why kids travels everywhere all the time.
Right. Yeah.
But he's that's how much you see how this guy tries to be honest with everybody. They pay to be part of his association. Guess what? He goes and see you all the time, man. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool, actually. Let me take you back for a moment, way back, and share with us how you got started. What drew you to jiu-jitsu? How did you get started, and what was the early time like for you, just getting going?
Yeah, I am. This is a very interesting question, because this has been a big part of my teaching these days. It's been part of not only my teaching, but my preaching. Because, amazing. Back then, the reason why I started doing jiu-jitsu is definitely because I want to feel safe walking around Rio de Janeiro, man. You know, it can be a pretty deceiving, it can be a pretty tricky city to live. It's millions of people, all kinds of social levels, and we all mixed up in the same pot. So, you know, that's a third world country that try to think like a first world. But, well, I'm not gonna get into politics or financials, you know, but
right.
But the reason why I did start it, my reasons why I want to feel safe, as right prior to really decided to get involved with jiu-jitsu, on middle school, I had my backpack, jacket, and shoes taken over from me, getting out of school. Then, like on my first year of high school, actually, I'm sorry. This all happened in middle school. My first year of middle school, I got things, you know, stolen from me from these kids on the street, and if you don't give it to them, you're gonna get a little slapped here and there.
Right.
Back then, right now, I guess you either get shot or I don't know, man. Anyways, so again, a year or 2 years later, I again got approached and robbed by these people. So it wasn't really cool to feel that. So
no.
I started to hang out with kids that were doing jiu-jitsu. So funny. One day we're getting out of school too. This is right on the first year of high school, or last year of middle school. Like, we're getting out of school, and then this kid picks up a fight with a friend of mine, and this friend of mine was like a yellow belt from Halls, Grace, by the way. How funky is that, man? You know who's Hall Gracie?
Oh, yeah,
right?
of course.
Yeah. So he was a student of Hall's Grace. This other kid came in, swing a punch at him, and I'm like, got so impressed because he really used the basic defense skills. He blocked the punch. He went for a clean judo takedown, and took this kid down, mount on him, and unbarred him. I'm like, wow, got pretty impressed. Like, man,
yeah,
what is that? How did you lie? He's like, man, this is jiu-jitsu, this Gracie family. Can you believe it, man? Thank you, God, for podcast and bringing me back on the past, man. This is awesome.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Well, and then right away, I kind of, you got to take me to this place, whatever it is. And so he took me down there. I did not stick around because I came back home and I wanted to start it, but my parents were like, not much into the martial arts scene, or, you know, they did not have that kind of culture. They wanted me to go to school, play soccer. I was a good soccer player, man. And I was being, you know, pretty athletic, pretty active. So they did not allow me to do it. So it kind of like for a year or two, I kept thinking about it until the day that this other friend of mine took me to Osvaldo Alves Academy. You know who Osvaldo Alves is, right?
Yes, absolutely.
He's one. Yes, of course. So he took me over there, and I started training there with Sergio Pena, that teaches out of Las Vegas right now. You know?
Okay, yes.
And but I still could not tell my parents. So I had a surfboard hitting in the garage and a kimono, because those two things my parents weren't really cool about it, you know. So I had a surfboard hitting, and I had a nice kimono. Well, that's how it started. In a little beer, I had to go through with with what was happening, told my parents, and we had a little, parent kid kind of thing.
Right.
And they end up kind of like accepting me because I was a very healthy, very, very, he changed me a lot. He started to give me confidence to walk around, get out of school, and don't feel problem being robbed. And funny that we say that because right when I got my blue belt, I had a couple confrontations with, I actually was kind of like looking forward to have. I kind of a confront. So I was kind of like swinging my watches around and my shoes and say, hoping that they will come and try to mug me. But a couple guys did, and I did pretty well, man. I loved it. I got in a scrap with a couple of those little thugs and beat them up.
You're like, this stuff really works. This is great.
This stuff really works. This is nuts. I wanna keep doing so. Yeah. So still kind of like pursuing education. I kind of went all the way through college, and I never finished college, but I finished my high school, got a couple of years of college, all through that, really getting involved with jiu-jitsu,
Okay. And
by the age 24, 25, rumors started around that RIckson would like to come to United States and help his brother Hoya, right? So I kind of like, I kept listening to the rumors, and back then he was my idol, and we used to hang out all the time. We used to go surf with him and Euler, and go train right after. So those guys are my heroes. And
absolutely,
man, I was on one day training. RIckson came up to me and said, "Man, how would you like to come with me to the United States? My brother's calling me. I want to go, and family's going to stay here for 6 months. I want to go establish myself." I'm like, man, I'm on it. He's like, I'll pay for your chicken. I'm like, give me one more visit. Oh, yeah.
So no hesitation. You were just ready right when you heard that.
Oh, man, they like right on the mats. Like, this guy had like 400 or 500 students, And you're like, to come and call, that wasn't not even a question. So I came home, told my parents. I said, man, I'm going to be in college for a year or two. I'm going to go to the United States. I barely even knew the callers or numbers, man. And I told them, I had a pretty good life over there, thank you, God. And I told them that I was just coming to spend a year or so. Poor people, man, it has been 27 years. I never came back.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like it's worked out well.
Life brought me here to Hawaii. You should see where I am right now, man. I'm standing in a really nice place. I really love. I'm 2 minutes from the beach, and
awesome.
Jiu-jitsu took me a long ways, bro. But anyways, this is how it all began,
So I do want to hear about Hawaii. But before we
what's missing is between now I'm at Sergio Pena School, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not took too long. I kind of like had other friends at the Carlson Gracie School. I went to the Carlson Gracie where I had a lot of training with Mario Cupertino, one of Carlson's black belts that I will teach in the mornings. And that was pretty much the only time I could go. So had classes over there. It was all good. Then my family decided to relocate it from Copacabana to a more upscale neighborhood by north of the city, which you call São Conrado Barra. It's pretty where the famous Barra Gracie came,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That neighborhood. So right there, because of transportation matters and all of that, I never had car, and so I started training close to my school. That's close to my home, which is like, then I started to have classes with Silvio Bering, with Marcelo Bering, with Talarico. This is all in a health club, a little health club where they have their little spot. We'll go there and have classes. It wasn't an official academy, Right there is already like Hall's Gracie guys and Rickson Gracie guys going around and already teaching stuff all over the city. But it's still pretty much only a kind of Rio de Janeiro state kind of a thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
People hadn't really much gone to São Paulo yet. There was one or two guys in São Paulo, if I'm not mistaken. Then I remember Marcelo Berenguer moved to São Paulo and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so here I am now in São Conrado training with these guys, these different people, and somehow all related to the Gracie Academy, you know, Marcelo Berenguer and blah, blah, blah. Back then, because of surfing, I started to become really good friends with Hoyle. And, you know, we have jiu-jitsu talk here and there, and then he was like, kept inviting me to come over to his place and train, blah, blah, blah. And I took the bus, got there, trained with those guys, felt their love, got a lot of respect and love for them, and now they give me the same back, and I made the transition, man. I kind of felt like, okay, this is a real Gracie Jiu-Jitsu school. Nobody's going to live here. You know, it's not a gym that we come in and out. It's more of an established kind of an academy with more established kind of a teaching and curriculum. So I stayed there, stuck around, got there as a blue belt, and started my life there, man. And I remember, like my first 1-2 months of training there was one of the first competitions in Brazil, in Rio, and the blue belt the featherweight blue belt back then got hurt, and then Rickson invited me to see if I want to fight, represent the academy. I said, yeah, man, I just don't have a car. I don't know how to get there. He's like, no worry, man, you come with me. Another thing that I can never forget that.
Nice.
I took a bus, went to his house early morning. The kids were always small. Roxon was very small. Kron wasn't even born. Yeah. So, and he took me to this first tournament, man. And, man, that was a war. I can't forget, like 5-6 matches until I could not believe it, and I kept passing through. It was my first tournament, right?
Yeah.
Because check this out. How funky is this? I was so addicted and crazy for surfing that I'll surf all day long, man, and try all this kind of, every contest I'll go in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of these contests, I mean, every surfing contest I would go in, I'll lose my first round. Incredible. I have so much love, passion. I want to do it so well. And I always lose the first round. So I got super disappointed, you know. And then this guy called me, let's go do this jiu-jitsu tournament. So I went to do this first jiu-jitsu tournament ever. And remember, my final was actually with a guy from Carlson Gracie School. And I was, you know, just training there not too long ago. So it became kind of a little bit more of a rivalry. And I remember finishing the match. You know how blue belts fight, man. And then back then, like, the point system wasn't really like that accurate. It was a war. I remember getting out of the fight. Like, I'm all red, like scratches everywhere. The guy was bleeding.
Nice.
And bleeding. We were both like almost dying. And then I got my hand raised. Man, that was the feeling that I need to have.
That was it. That was it.
That was it. I like, wow, I won my first. So I saw that that's something that I really clicked right away. This was our 17, 18. And
you were hooked.
Oh, I was hooked, man. Hooked big time. And then kept training, got my purple belt, kept training, and that time of being invited to come to U.S.
Yes.
January 11, 1989.
Nice.
So I'm tripping about that picture that I had that Hannah just posted.
Yeah, the seals.
because I remember, I forgot about the teacher. And then this morning, looking at it, I remember this was a private house that this guy, Dr. Pusava, he's a doctor in Torrance. He used to be good friends with Heredia, and he had a maps at his house. So we would go there and teach private for him and his kids all the time. And he offered us that space for the week to teach the Navy SEALs. And thank you God I did not have, because today when I go to seminars, I have all these 36 years of the story, and I talk, I can speak English decently right now, and so I love talking. But back then, this is so funny. Back then, I did not know one word of English or nothing.
Oh man!
All Heredia would say, "You don't need to talk. Just choke them all and armbar them." I'm like, okay,
that's awesome.
That's all I need to do.
That's awesome.
Fine. So I will never speak a word. I'm like, I just shake my head on a train, shake hands.
That's great.
Blah, 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 blah. Destroyed them all, man. That was pretty cool.
That's great.
It was so cool back then when nobody knew jiu-jitsu, man.
And just to give a little clarification, what you're referring to, Henner just recently, in the last few days, posted a picture of Navy SEALs training, or he just did a Navy SEAL training, and one of the guys that was there was, back in the day, part of the original group that Rickson and Horion and yourself were training. So it was really great to tie that back into way back and have a guy that was way back then in that training.
That's what he was.
Training.
He came back to the school, right?
Yeah. So you were part of that initial kind of Brazilian wave that came to the States and really started spreading the message of jiu-jitsu. Even though you didn't speak English, you were definitely part of that and showed with your physical skills, it sounds like. What was it like to be part of those early days and that energy and the challenge matches and all the craziness that was going on during that time?
Marty, that feels so special to me, man. That brings me so much confidence in what I do. I think that jiu-jitsu from today is a big... Kids are very athletic. They're very tough. They're very oriented to fight forever in a sport of jiu-jitsu. But back then, things were real, man. The reason why these kids don't know why they all keep playful, keep doing all this acrobatic stuff, it's because they don't know much of the history, what we have to do to get to this level. We have to show... I went through a lot. I went through like for instance, all those Navy SEALs, they did not care about anything, man. They want to care about learning how to fight in this, how we do this and how we do that. Those guys will squeeze your neck, punch you, whatever, Yeah. And we have to be, back then we have to be way more savvy. Back then, thank you God I'm instructed from that generation, because today, when I teach sport jiu-jitsu, I can very easily put together the two worlds. If you get triangle in the sport of jiu-jitsu, you got to be careful with that free hand over there. In the sport of jiu-jitsu, with that free hand, the guy might grab in your collar, he stack you up. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Right? Yep. Okay, in a fighting situation, that free hand is going to work for punching.
Yeah.
So I think the instructor today got to say, man, you know what? Either if you are in the sport of jiu-jitsu, or if you are doing MMA, or if you're doing street fight, you must be worried about that free hand, because that hand is going to cause you problems. So I love the fact that back then we were way more the way we used to do jiu-jitsu. Yes. It was based on self-defense. What people don't understand is self-defense and jiu-jitsu are the same thing. That's not such a old people think self-defense is all that stand-up stuff that they see on books and stuff. No, man, self-defense is awareness. Self-defense is not, you don't need, self-defense is, It's trying to get out of a confrontation clean. Maybe without fighting will be your best option. Showing trust and confidence. Really, man, you want to fight with me? Are you sure? Well, we're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt, you know? That kind of a thing, you got to know because you know self-defense. If I get caught close to a wall, I know what to do. If I go to the ground, I know what to do. You know one of the main reasons why I think it's so different and
why is that?
It's so important. Well, I think back then we have no rules.
Mm-hmm.
Today, everybody put rules. Oh, you cannot do this. You cannot. Every tournament in the planet right now, it's a different rule. How are we going to do that? Every turn, you cannot do wrist lock here, but you can do a neck crank. You can do heel hooks. You can do toe holds. You can.
Yes, it's an artificial environment, right? It's a beautiful aspect of jiu-jitsu, but it's not under the. You don't need the situational awareness and the pressurized, realistic application that you do when you have the self-defense and street.
Marty, I still get nervous before I do a camp. It's so funny. And like before this camp, this is one of Pedro's first school, and it's a bunch of like a factor of guys over there. They know from bearing bolo to everything, right? So here I am like, man, what am I going to teach these people? 100 people, blah, blah, blah. And you know what, every time it comes down to my stand-up self-defense skills, mix it with my competitive sport of jiu-jitsu, becomes too easy. Because I start to teach things that people never see. I say, man, you know what? Oh, what about if you get in a fight, or what about if you play with a friend of yours that doesn't know how to pass your guard and does the can open? Everybody looks at me. Wow. Yes. That's what I know. I look at them and say, you know what? This is real. Nobody in the street is going to come and do a bearing ball on you. They're going to come and crank your neck, smash your head on the concrete, bang against the wall. This is what they're going to do. Oh, you know what, man? You know what I realized? That I am becoming a huge asset on the game because I'm one of the few guys that come from those days, those times that is still live in the U.S., that is still practicing jiu-jitsu, that is still competing. You know what I'm saying? So that forms your mindset, right? I'm not bragging about myself. What I'm saying is that I am very honored and very glad that I pass this all the time, that I'm from a generation that generation that all this kind of situations matter to us. We did not train to compete in the world. We trained to survive. We trained because, hey man, next week we're going to have 7 Navy SEALs here. You know how Navy SEALs are, though. They don't quit for anything.
Right,
what?
Absolutely.
Skinny Brazilian guys, we go fight all these tough guys, kill everybody. I don't think they're going to do this. So back then, that was the mentality. Oh, let me squeeze your neck, see if you can really escape. Okay? Right. Today, nobody goes to any school. Say, man, let me see if your jiu-jitsu work. Back then, I was like training, and Rickson would go to his house, and I'm brown belt by myself in West LA. Bikers, crazy. I'm like, man, who's going to walk in today? You know what I'm saying? When
you had to be ready for anything, right?
Freaking out, man. Nobody was there. I'm by myself with students.
Oh, wow.
All day, every day I would expect one crazy guy, I don't know who, to come in. And you know what? They would come. And me, very polite, very cool. I'm like, hey, okay, let's roll. And you know, I mean, that was a crazy thing. They want to test that out to see if their hype is for real. You know what? Today nobody tests nothing.
Because it's already been proven by you guys way back when.
I know.
Nobody questions the validity of it. That's for sure. So let's do something fun, Luis. Let's play a little word game, and it'll put you on the spot a little bit. But So what I want to do is I'm going to say a name, and I want you to say the first word or first two words that come to your mind about this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So about this particular. All right. And this is all about particular people, not just random words. Okay. So first word, Elio Gracie.
The Pope.
Nice. Okay. Horion Gracie.
Mastermind.
Okay. RIckson Gracie.
Warrior.
Nice. Helson Gracie.
Intriguing.
All right. Hoyler Gracie.
Hoyler Gracie will be perseverance.
All right. Hoist Gracie.
Hoist Gracie. Determination.
All right. One more. I know we could go on and on because you've been so many legendary. And just how about Pedro Sauer? What's the first word or two that comes to mind?
Classic. Classy.
Nice. Very nice. I appreciate you doing that. I know it's hard to be on the spot, but you've had a chance to be with so many high-level, legendary jiu-jitsu people, and you're included in that group, obviously. So what a great opportunity.
I feel very blessed, man, to do that. I am the luckiest guy on the planet, man. I am,
awesome.
I am very, very, very happy to be able to share and to be able to have experienced that kind of a training in my life,
For sure. Let's switch it for a moment and talk about, you also had the honor to accompany Master RIckson over to Japan during the documentary, the Choke documentary that's become so legendary out there. What was it like? Yeah, so popular. What was it like to be part of that whole experience and be over there with him during that time?
Incredible experience, and that's when we start to get up the concept of the real concept of the samurai, of fighting, and that's what we're fighting for, and became so controversial with the Japanese people, so that kind of controversy, that kind of a challenging. Yeah, it was amazing. Putting that on top of a kid that never left Brazil, now to come in the United States and to be part of this whole new trend, and then now got this opportunity to go to Japan with the number one fighter at the moment in the world. It was a thrill to see how much love and respect Japanese people had, not only for martial arts, but also for RIckson. So that kind of gave me a different perspective in the world of martial arts. I actually start to appreciate and respect all the other arts as much as I did jiu-jitsu. I always trust jiu-jitsu more than anything else, but as a true martial artist, I gotta give credit to all these people that devote themselves to trying to help others, man, and make them improve and get better. So that is one of those things that I learned going to Japan.
Oh, that's really big. That's big. It had a major impact on you, it sounds like.
Yeah, it had a major impact on my overall view of martial arts. I was a little bit confined into this jiu-jitsu world, which is I am till today, but today I have a very different respect for all these martial artists, and they do have a very different respect for me too, because it's all about respect. You know what I'm saying? You give it back. You're only gonna get respect if you be able to respect people. So that's one of those things that I took from going to Japan with RIckson. On top of that, of course, all his months of preparation that also brought me up with him, because I had to help him out. We did not have much training back then.
Right.
And
right.
Whoever has in here should be ready, healthy, and it was a mission. So it was awesome. I can't forget that. I guess that's what one of the second or the third time that we went to Japan we had that same as. Have you heard that story that we had the seminar with 400 fighters, 400?
No, I haven't heard that.
And 200 of them. I mean, RIckson had a huge seminar, very friendly, very cool. But with judokas, Pancrase guys, Shoto, all those kind of style of martial arts in Japan. All of them became close to 400 people. So we had a great time, great seminar. And then on the end of the seminar, the funny thing is that I did not have a good trip that one. I did not eat well in Japan. I did not sleep well. Time
difference can certainly
time difference messed up with my body, my mind. So I kind of like I wasn't really there, but I believe I was on my last stages as a brown belt. So after RIckson and Hoyler, I was next online over there.
Okay.
We had we had Hawkson as a purple belt, and we had a couple other purple belts with us. And so on the end of the seminar, by an hour before it ends, RIckson kind of like, oh, now we're going like he used to do. Now we're going to roll with everybody that wants to roll. So whoever wants to roll a little bit, step this way. Whoever doesn't want, step this way.
Okay.
And close to like 150 guys, 200 guys stepped on to train. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And here I am not feeling good, man. And so boom, time started. RIckson go first. He get rid of like 30, 40 guys right away, less than 10 minutes. It was just take them, tap and leave. That wasn't trained, Then Hoyler go and make another 20 guys step. And then here I am next. I was so nervous, man. I was so freaking nervous that
I bet.
My first 14 guys, I finished them in less than a minute.
Man.
So I got 14 right away out of the way, and I'm like, let me breathe a little bit, RIckson. Bunch of tough kids, man. And okay, boom, then we kept going, rotating again, and then I had my second turn, I had another 10 guys, so I done my part.
Right.
And, when we came back from the United States, this is another thing that I trip, because my whole life I make a huge deal. Today people make a huge deal. It's a party day when you're going to give somebody a black belt. Family comes, everybody, blah, 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 right? It becomes like a big deal. And here I am sitting down on the mat lunchtime, super tired, brown belt, just came back from Japan. And I remember he went out for lunch or something, and he comes back with a black belt. And then he kind of like, very congratulations, kind of throw, very, very informal, man. Like,
wow.
Very like, kind of like the same time very special, but it is special for me, but nobody knows how I got my black belt. It was just, I was sitting on the mat, like I was debating. Because a lot of people came right prior to I get my black belt. A lot of people prior for us to go to Japan, I was training so hard, helping him out. And I remember thousands of people, which against my will, will go to him and like, man, when are you going to promote this kid to a black belt? Blah, blah, blah. When are you going to promote this guy to the black belt? And I would turn my face away because it seemed like that I asked for.
Right.
But I never did. I'm not that kind of a person. And I remember like a couple times, it's I remember one guy just like saying, man, his brown belt is white already. And then I remember RIckson saying to him, say, well, if you feel bad, go buy a new brown belt for him. That's how, that's how rough it
Right.
was, man. The guy felt bad. I felt bad. I'm like, wow, really? So, yeah, man, those are the things I had to go through. I had no idea when I was going to get my black belt. I just trained. Like
that wasn't
today,
really your focus,
like
right?
Today,
but
one thing I gotta be honest with you guys on right now online on the podcast is like,
sure.
I know that it's natural. It's natural that I will get my stripes and blah blah blah. And maybe one day I'll become red and black belt. But with all the respect that I have for all the federations and all of that, that doesn't mean nothing to me. I don't care if I get one other stripe or not. That's not what I do jiu-jitsu for. I do jiu-jitsu just because the love of it, man. I do jiu-jitsu because there is nothing better for me to do. If I get a stripe,
awesome,
it's like what I'm trying to say is that I don't do jiu-jitsu aiming to get a stripe. It's so natural to me. Oh, okay, we're gonna finish this up. Here I am. I gotta go teach. So it will come when it has to, but that has a lot to do with the only belt that I really wanted was my black. Then I got there, everything started again, pretty much. That's what I tell people. You get to the black belt, you think you're over. Guess what? That's when you start learning jiu-jitsu. It's a new beginning. That's when you have a level where you can start to help people out.
Sure.
The matter of fact is one very truthful statement. As we start the podcast, you know what I start doing jiu-jitsu. So to defend myself. So the matter of fact is, I don't remember ever back then, even not too long ago, I don't remember ever when one jiu-jitsu practitioner got hurt or get up friendly or on the street or on the nightclub or in school. Never. Today it's becoming kind of pretty common.
Yeah, that's so true. Very true. Kids
go through a triangle in the street and they get their head kind of like, how do you call that? Slammed on the ground.
Slammed on the ground, yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like, man, back then it did not exist. It did not happen. That's why we brought it to the United States, because the thing was so effective. But the reason why it's effective is because you got to keep it real.
Yeah.
The moment that you start to, fool around and stuff, it's very profitable these days to people. All these kimono companies, all these clothing companies, all these promoters, all this.
Everybody's whole new world, isn't it?
Everybody's making money out of jiu-jitsu, All these false instructors, dude. Everybody's making money out of jiu-jitsu. Wow, cool. I am, in a sort of way, I am benefiting from it. But my benefit, it's different. Because I am, people don't know. It's hard for me to say, man, because I see all this hype, all this exploration of the game of jiu-jitsu, and without them getting aware or not, it's diluting the sport, man. Not this. I'm sorry. It's in the sport. The sport is not getting diluted. The sport, as a matter of fact, is in a growth.
Yeah.
Super growth. Like I said, all these companies, everybody's profiting of it. However, the quality of, I don't know if you can understand or if you can help me out.
Yeah, the quality of the realistic self-defense is suffering. That kind of teaching suffering, right?
It's diluted and it's getting away. How long that's going to take to really vanished, man. I don't know. I hope I'm not alive, you know? And no, with all the respect and love, and I miss him a lot. Thank you, God, that Gracie is not alive to see this too, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is not cool. That's not what he created jiu-jitsu for. Oh, that means, oh, we're going to get in a fight and I'm going to see it. Kids don't learn takedowns anymore, man.
Right.
And so let's see. It's crazy.
Yeah, evolution is good, but
I don't want to be. You know, let's not make this very political or very controversial because, that's going to be another hefty, like, wow. But the truth is, I do jiu-jitsu for myself. I'm a very happy guy. I have tons of students. I'm living their life, man. I live in Hawaii. I got a great family. Awesome. I got a great family. I got a great relationship with the people that put all of this together. So
I want to ask you about Hawaii, but first let me kind of sum that thought up. What I'm understanding is evolution is great. It's fine, but not at the expense of your roots and where you came from and that mindset of self-defense.
Well, that's what I said, that I feel very lucky sometimes. Because if I go for the academy that teaches the best sport jiu-jitsu in the world right now, I'm going to go there, and I'm not going to teach them because they know more than I do, the bearing ball, the sweep, the little trick here and there. But I can guarantee one thing, they don't know what I'm going to ask them. Oh, what about if you get stuck on this situation? How are you going to do it? What about if this happens? What about if, because what the sport is doing is the sport is creating athleticism and awareness in situations where that has nothing to do with a real confrontation. Mm-hmm. And what self-defense does is bring awareness for life, for jiu-jitsu matters, for confrontational matters, and if you get a good sense of self-defense, man, this weekend there was like 4 or 5 situations, for real, that happened in jiu-jitsu, that happened in sport of jiu-jitsu with my students, with people that I know, that the only way that the guys that didn't know how to solve the problem, and if they knew self-defense, they would have solved the problem. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about sport jiu-jitsu. So a guy that has a very good base, you know what? I'm not worried. I probably, as a matter of fact, I just lost the final in the Worlds, which is crazy pissing, it took me quite a while to get over that. But I'm coming back anyways.
Absolutely, man.
But what I was trying to say is, that I'm not worried. This is what I was going to say. I'm not really worried. I like when I got that I become the world champion, when I get a gold medal. That's cool. But I really like, if I have to trade my knowledge of sport jiu-jitsu, if I have to choose, you got to choose. You're going to keep your knowledge of sport jiu-jitsu, or you have to keep the knowledge of overall self-defense. There is no doubt in my mind that I will pick the self-defense. That's how I can teach my kids, my family, my friends. Not all of them going to be athletic enough to go and do bearing bowls and spider guards and warm guards. Jesus Christ, what is warm guard, man?
I hear you. Listen,
going to do a warm guard in the street, right?
Exactly. A couple more quick questions, sir, and we'll bring it on to a close. But just quickly tell us what took you to Hawaii and what life has been like there for you.
Man, why did I choose Hawaii? Because I'm lucky enough that God brought me to paradise. I did not choose Hawaii. Hawaii chose me.
Oh, wow.
Because, you know what, if you come to this islands, and you don't act properly, if you don't work with the community, if you don't understand why Hawaii is Hawaii, why Hawaii is in the middle of the ocean, then you can't live here. The islands will send you out wherever you come from. But I came over here because it's more my lifestyle. I like more quietness. I don't like freeways or highways. I like nature. One of the reasons, okay, I got you. One of the main reasons why I came to Hawaii is because so I could not lose my intuition.
Wow.
That's a pretty heavy one, man.
That's a heavy one. A great one.
That's the reason why I came to Hawaii. It's because the only way I keep my intuition is connecting to nature. So I highly recommend people, if they're gonna get together with themselves, that they should walk more barefoot. They should step on the grass more. They should walk on the sand. They should jump in the water. They should look at the sky. They should hike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my lifestyle. Man, I'm
really
kind of
connected and grounded.
I was very over to driving LA and kind of try to be what I should not be. You know,
yes,
living in that bubbly life. So, yeah, that's why I choose Hawaii. I choose Hawaii so I could raise my kids over here, so I can on the winter time I can walk around with no shirt. You know.
It sounds like it served you well.
What another big reason? You want another good one, guys?
Sure.
Okay. Fruit falls from the tree here. So we got we got a very high, good quality of food in Hawaii. That's another thing that if you guys don't know yet, hopefully you too, Marty, I will. If you come to Hawaii one time, it would be my pleasure to cook for you, man. I'm pretty good chef.
That. Oh man,
I'm very into cooking, and I have a very nice kitchen. It's the best part of my house, and I love hanging in there with the family and cooking and having the family time. We cook a lot. We eat a lot at home.
That's wonderful. It sounds like
Can I send a message right now?
Certainly, of course.
About that?
Of course.
I want people to be aware that we're being controlled by all kinds of ways and all kinds of means, through our social media, to electronics, to a bunch of stuff. But and that's not the worst. The worst is when we try to be controlled by the food industry, offering all this kind of a illusion food that I would call. So the message here is, don't forget that one of the unique ways, and the very few ways that you still be under control of your own self, your own health, is throughout eating. So be more aware about what kind of food. Be more, because that's how it's more than exercising. Food, it's both together, it's the ideal. Mm-hmm. But if you have to choose one or the other, I'll choose food over exercising.
Okay. Very important message, for sure. That's where our vitality comes from, for sure.
I got you.
All right. One more quick question, and we'll bring it to a close. So looking back over your life, Luis, and your time in jiu-jitsu, what about jiu-jitsu has brought you the most joy?
Man, what jiu-jitsu brought me as the most joy is it gives me the joy of confidence and kind of like self-respect and respect to others. That's the biggest joy that I get from jiu-jitsu. Being able to treat everybody equally, no matter what. Being able to see them with more patience, more kindness, more understanding. We're all different.
Yes.
You learn that a lot inside your school, and all your students, everybody is different. They all have a different size, a different weight, a different mind, a different thing. So you have to adapt yourself to all this kind of a different personalities. That's what jiu-jitsu does to me. It brings me a lot of joy when I can somehow make a positive difference in one's life. So that's it.
That's great. And you certainly have made a lot of difference in many, many people's lives around the world. So much respect. Do you have anybody you want to thank or shout out to as we close?
Yeah. Well, I will give a shout to my family, and most of all, man, I also want to give a shout to all the great students that passed through my life, and again, I miss them all. And they know that. Unfortunately, life takes you to different ways and different paths, but from my heart, this shout here is for everybody,
Yes.
So I thank you so much, man. Thanks for everything, Marty. I really appreciate it.
If you would, before we close, can you give everybody your website to your academy and any other kind of information you want to give as far as contact?
Yeah, for sure. You can find more about the history of Maui Jiu-Jitsu and myself at MauiJiujitsu.com. You can request on Instagram as Chief Limao, Limao. And on Facebook we are on. We got a couple pages. We have the Maui Jiu-Jitsu page and the Maui Jiu-Jitsu Academy page. Absolutely,
and I'll put links to all those in the show notes.
And I hope to see. And I also want to make an open invitation to come to Hawaii, man. You're gonna come here. You're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna get to rest and chill a little bit, and you're gonna get to train in one of the best jiu-jitsu academies in the planet. Guaranteed.
What could be better?
Oh, all right. The only thing that'll be better is if you let me cook a meal for you.
Absolutely, man. I am there, brother. Listen, you've had a major impact in the jiu-jitsu world as well as on people throughout the world. So it's been an absolute honor and privilege to speak with you. I love your attitude and your energy. And thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your life, your history, and your insights, sir. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Marty, so much, and aloha to everybody. Thank you.
All right.
I'll see you soon, man. Bye-bye.
Okay, really enjoyed that interview. Luis is such an amazing individual. He has such great history and insight, and it just exudes such a warm and positive energy. So really enjoyed doing that. Next up is the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment. And as I mentioned earlier, I have a guest host for today's segment, and that is Mark Kukro. And Mark owns and operates the Integrated Martial Arts Academy in Harrisburg, North Carolina. He's also very instrumental in the instructor development program for Pedro Sauer's Association. And he's also just an all-around awesome individual. So here he is with the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment.
Hi, I'm Mark Kukro, black belt under Master Pedro Sauer, owner of Integrated Martial Arts Academy in Harrisburg, North Carolina, and thanks for having me here today. The topic of today is a term I call the luxury of consequence. And oftentimes, if you look at the word consequence, it's viewed more so in a negative light than a positive light. And I want to talk about our perspective on that, because when you get immediate feedback or have a consequence, that's a luxury that not many people are afforded in some cases, whether it's a business life, a relationship, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, it took a day, a week, a year, longer than I expected to figure out that wasn't really the best decision at the time. In jiu-jitsu, and one of the beautiful aspects of jiu-jitsu is when you make a mistake, you find out right away. Oh, I got put in a position. Oh, I got caught in a submission. But I want to look at the way we kind of talk to ourselves and our inner dialogue. And you'll see the difference. Oh, man, I got caught in a submission. Oh, I got caught in a submission. What do I fix? And that's the luxury of consequence I'm talking about. It's an indicator, and you know immediately what to work on and improve. And if we start to instill the kind of perspective in our students, and we kind of, our inner dialogue changes to have a consequence to be a more positive thing, it helps in every other aspect of what we're doing. Instead of saying, oh, I got caught, you go, oh, well, now I know what to fix. And if you look at anything, success is going to teach you what to repeat. Failure, or what you consider failure at that moment, is going to teach you what to fix. And we would be wise to learn the lessons from both. So if you look at a consequence as something that is a luxury, that it's an indicator, it's something that's designed to be helpful, that we can grow from, I guarantee it'll make a difference in your life in jiu-jitsu. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Take good care and have a wonderful day.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the show. As always, thanks for listening. If you haven't liked us yet on Facebook, please do so. And when you get a moment, please rate us on iTunes, as well as leave a comment there. You can also go to the website and leave a comment at www.graciejujitsurocks.com. You may also leave a comment by voicemail by calling 919-251-5053. Thanks again to Luis Limao Heredia and Mark Kruko for helping make this episode really special. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, I'll see you on the mat.